of ME Digital Group. We are a free zone-based business in Studio City. We have about 80 employees who are based in our head office and in Riyadh and Jeddah. Our principal sites are expatwoman.com, which I founded in 2002. It's a web-based women's media portal. We have about 600,000 unique visitors a month, and we're about principally this region based, but also we're about 6 in the world for expat sites. But today I'm talking to you more with my Cobone hat on. We acquired Cobone in 2015, and I'll see if this works. Yeah. So 700,000 different people every month come to the Cobone site, and they look at 5 million page views. We've got a database of around 3 million, of which 1 million are active shoppers. We're active in both UAE and KSA, around 50-50 for both traffic,
my wife and
sales and
colleagues
profits.
from Altaya just joined that presentation.
We launch 12 new deals a day
from
in
Altaya.
English and
Can they
Arabic.
just listen
It's
to
a
the one
real
presentation?
powerhouse, pumping them out. And we have around 900
Sorry?
deals live,
Yes, but don't tell them that I put them in.
a number that keeps pushing up. To give you some context of the daily deals landscape,
Hi, how are you doing?
there
Good?
are some small players that keep going, but principally there are 2 key players in the market,
stick someone in the back and
Cobone.com
pick
and Groupon.ae. And the differences between us, Cobone is in UAE and KSA. We, having been first to market, we are sort of resonate more with the residents, and Groupon is just in the UAE, better known to tourists, I guess. That brand will resonate with them, and they do more product, and obviously that's a movement worldwide for Groupon. So this is traffic data from Alexa.com, which compares sites. You can see how the market's gone up and down, but it's generally, this is a 3-year period, and we're seeing highs again as we've seen from a couple of years ago. From the traffic, I can't accurately extrapolate the size of the market, but I can share with you that over the last 5 years, Cobone customers have spent over $100 million with us, which means in turn they have saved, again, more than $100 million. And that's great news for the region, because the majority of that we're passing back to our merchants. And also it's great news for us, because probably not surprisingly in this current economic climate, deals are booming. We're seeing highs of everything, new highs even from several years back, both in traffic and in sales. Wearing my other hat, like you, I need to promote my brand. Cobone was first to launch in the region in 2010, and within 6 to 9 months there were about 30 Me Too sites that launched. So how did Cobone rise above, and my predecessors, how did they push Cobone to where it is today? And the story principally is about just huge VC support, a massive injection of cash to push it to where it is. So since we took it over, we took it on with a very significant run rate of ad support and ad spend. And we watched it carefully, because we have to plan, we have to deliver sustainable growth and be profitable. So we watched the quarterly budgets, and only as we understood what was working for the brand and what was not working for the brand, we steadily increased it. So now we're, where are we? 18 months on, we're probably double what we were spending at the beginning. So why are we all here? We're here because we want to increase sales and create customer loyalty. So we're going to move on to look at some of the pros and cons of discounting and promo codes. Attracting new customers is right in the wheelhouse of deal sites. We drive customer acquisition. And once we've brought them to your door or onto your store, you have the opportunity to delight them and develop them into loyal customers with repeat business, because surely that is the holy grail of marketing. They're easy and quick to implement, whether you're putting a coupon in a newspaper or a discount in your store or on a deal site or on your store. None of that is rocket science. And they increase conversions. So having got the customer on your site looking at this item that they want, maybe this discount is just that little sprinkling of magic marketing dust that will make the difference between whether or not they convert. Easy to track, absolutely. You can put a promo code up, you can see what margin you're foregoing by discounting in that way. You can see what sales have come in against that promo code. The only thing I would say is it's not the only story. You need to also consider the lifetime value of a customer. Yeah, not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that can be counted counts. So that was a quote attributed probably wrongly to Einstein, but whoever said it was probably talking about digital marketing. Some of the downsides then are a decrease in margin and profitability. Be careful around margins. If you're importing hair clips from China at 20 for a dirham and selling them at 20 dirhams each, or whatever the numbers are, of course you can deep discount, but most of us are facing a harsher economic reality, and both percentage and absolute discounts can decimate bottom line. Fear of brand damage. So some premium brands may not want to be associated with discounting. Chanel doesn't discount, but Michael Kors does, and it may have reduced Michael Kors in the pecking order of designer, but I would expect that they're doing very well. And moving that to looking at that as an online, I think you can, if you use properly, you can effectively discount just about anything. So I was in Mall of the Emirates at the weekend, walked into Harvey Nicks, and there's a 40% discount on Jimmy Choo. Marvellous. So I don't think Jimmy Choo is diminished in any way, because a deal for that premium brand is placed within Harvey Nicks is entirely appropriate and contextual. And taking that to deal sites then, again, I still think you can put premium brands onto deals, because if you make it extraordinary or exceptional, like the deal equivalent of winning a lottery, then we can promote anything. So when you see your first car sold through Cobone, you know you heard it here first. Pavlov's dog, really. So decreasing conversion, this is about training bad behavior into your customers. So if you discount all the time, or if you discount regularly, they're just going to wait for that. I mean, how many cars do we think have been sold in Dubai in the 3 weeks running up to Ramadan? We're all waiting for those great deals. This criticism is often levied at deal sites that we tend to drive non-loyal shoppers, and there are, semi-professional deal hoppers out there. And I would say, some of our customers maybe do hop from deal to deal most of the time, and most of our shoppers may do that some of the time, but for sure not all of our shoppers will do it at all. So you still have that opportunity once you bring them to you to convert them to loyal customers. There's a lesson for us all in the case of JCPenney, which in 2012. In 2012, they announced that they were going to stop any spot discounts or any periodic discounts, and they were going to have permanent lowest prices in store all year round on all items. What a marvelous thing for JCPenney customers, we think. Within 9 months, their sales were down 23%, their stock price had dropped 20%. And the prevailing wisdom, with the benefit of hindsight, was that consumers like to feel that they found a great deal. So it's into the psyche of buying. That it's not enough that they have a great deal, they want to feel it. They want to track it down and take credit for that. So maybe this is a primeval thing, but that to some extent we've all at some time enjoyed stalking through the endless opportunities to purchase out there and coming home with some fantastic deal. And not only that, because they also found that people like to share their success, and definitely this applies to women, well, maybe not all women, but particularly women. So, I mean, you must have heard the lift conversation of, I'm back to shoes, but, I really like your shoes. And you go, oh, thank you very much. Actually, Harvey Nicks has a sale on. It's 40% off. We can't help it. We have to share as women. And there you go. I've shared that with you twice already. It's the great multiplier effect of word of mouth, or in the case of Expat Woman Forum, word of mouth. But either way, it is the sweet spot of a campaign when you can get the ripples going out again and again. So let's move on then to the what, how and when of discounting. What type of discounts can we employ? This is kind of obvious, but absolute. 50 dirhams off your next purchase. Just watch your margins. I've seen margins, again, just totally eroded, go into negative because of these kind of discounts. That may be something that you plan to do because you're using it as a marketing expense to entice new customers. All I would say is if that's what you're doing, plan it, budget for it, and monitor it. Percentage discounts, my issue with percentages is that you can have kind of an unimpressive looking percentage, 5% off, which doesn't really attract anyone, and yet you can be giving away quite a lot of margin. So just be careful with that. Free sample is really a marketing cost for trial. Free shipping is often used with volume sales. You put spend so much, you get free shipping, and that would be effective. And free gifts.
To the e-commerce one?
Well, that's good if you've got, it's good if you've got dead stock. So you've got a warehouse with 250 makeup brushes that you're trying to get rid of, and you just put it out with, spend so much and you get a free something. There are several ways to deploy discounts depending on your objectives. Weekly, monthly to drive sales. Well, this is a tactical short burst. I'm particularly seeing this with the airlines. The first speech was very interesting about what they're doing, but I'm definitely responding to tactical campaigns by the airlines. Pre-launch and supporting fledgling brands. So from our experience of knowing the story of Cobone, and also just about every fledgling e-commerce site deck that passes my desk, baby brands need to be supported. And if you are going to grow, you're going to have to put money behind it. Black Friday, we've talked about White Friday. It's coming, not so big here, but summer surprises definitely is, and pretty much obligatory. Abandoned cart, we've found that super interesting, I have to say, because we've been looking at it recently. Industry standard worldwide is 70%, which surprised me. And we at Cobone are running at about 50%. So that means if I was able to entice my potential customers who have put items in their shopping cart, if I was able to entice them all back, we could double our sales. And you're never going to do that, of course, but every percentage point counts. And we're looking at ways of bringing that back. Typically, it's with an email campaign, you know, hey, don't forget us, come back and look at this item. Or if you're going to add a discount in, just be careful with that, because we go back to not wanting to train people into bad behavior. You don't want them to be, abandoning the cart and waiting for 24 hours to see if they get a promo code. Similar to that is the exit intent pop-up. So just as your mouse moves to the X at the top of the page, a little pop-up comes and says, hey, don't go, come back, and we just happen to have a spot discount on that very item that you're looking for today. And the same thing applies, not to overuse it, and be careful just not to train in bad behavior. Exclusive social offers, this is if you're trying to target particular people, so you could use that in conjunction with Facebook or with a niche site such as Expat Woman, where you're looking for to bring in a certain audience. There is a strong argument to target your promotional budget to the people who are already predisposed to spend money with you, and I would say a lot of what we do is based on that. So you may be, if you throw discounts into that, you may be cannibalizing your full price sales, but then on the other hand, you may be getting those customers to spend more. So there's a balance. Equally, you can target your budget to convert new shoppers, and it probably depends where you are along the line, if you're a startup or you're further along. But you can, if you put out a discount for first-time purchase or new customers, you'll probably find that your mailing list will boost as all those canny shoppers open new accounts in order to qualify for the discount. I had a nice offline example of this. I was in New Orleans last month for the Collision Web Conference, and I met a couple of guys who were Canadian, and they'd set up an e-commerce store. And passing me their business card, it was on the back of the business card was a discount for their store. And they'd got the idea from, I think it was the CEO of Tim Hortons, who had on the back of his card a Tim Hortons voucher, so he'd give it, say, have a coffee on me. So a quite nice way to just get people, in fact, similar to what Alan just did. Right, volume cart offer. So this appeals to the accountant in me. Seems entirely logical that the more people spend with you, the more discount you would offer. So, and I couldn't resist that. Just in case there are any fellow Trekkies in the room, I know there's one. Retargeting. So following your customer to encourage them to come back. They leave your site. They go to the Daily Mail, and you pop up with a reminder of what they were looking at. Banners where there's a call for action are always stronger, so if you want to put in a discount voucher into that, it can be done. And we, again, there was debate at Collision as to whether this was the greatest innovation for consumers, where it's so much better for them because we're putting things in front of them that are relevant and interesting, or whether it's just plain creepy and stalking. So depending on whether you're an advertiser or a consumer, it's going to make the difference. Either way, it is here to stay, and we're trialing that for Cobone. Influencers and bloggers. So, if it's again contextual, I think that can work really well. We were warmly recommended a year or so ago to look at working with influencers, some very key influencers in Saudi to help our Saudi business. We were quoted something, I think it was around $100,000 a tweet, some like crazy number, but Gail went off and super sleuthed and through Google and came back to find that actually we could have got a Kardashian to tweet for less. So all I would say is, yes, there is value in that, but just watch your budget. In conclusion, I'm going to leave you with my 5 personal top tips, top 5 of when to discount. So you've opened a new salon, you've launched a new store, you're a startup, you've got no traffic and more staff than customers. There's a fairly clear argument. Where you've got room to maneuver and some fat to play with, particularly if having pulled people into your store or online or physically, you pull them in with a discount and they're going to buy other things at full price. Products that attract loyalty, such as credit cards, salons, clinics. The common thread is once you've signed up to them, you're probably not going to move unless they upset you. Then there is value in spending money to pull in that initial customer. And high customer lifetime value. So I was talking to the guys at Talabat a couple of weeks ago, and they were very confident that once they've converted a leaflets in the drawer food orderer into a going online food orderer, they never go back. So they're prepared to put money behind that initial customer acquisition because of the long-term value. 5. So we're almost all of us, working in a very competitive market, and we can't make our decisions in isolation. So whatever your competitors are doing, short-term bursts, we can ride them. But medium to long term, you have to be at least at the same level and hopefully outstripping the competition. So I'm going to leave you with a very contrived statement. Should we be asking ourselves whether we can afford to discount, or rather whether we can afford not to? Anyone, any questions? Otherwise, we're around.
Do you have some questions from the audience?
After.
I certainly have one for you.
Yes.
I would be interested to find out what are the brands that have the most success at Cobone. Is it the car cleaning deals? Is it a discount for an iftar? Which brands?
Yeah.
What's the best deal?
It's quite level because we have beauty, activities, destinations, the car things.
Yeah.
All of those I would say are contributing pretty levelly. We've just recently introduced Shop and we're developing that more. Across the board.
Really across the board. That's interesting. And another question for you. When a brand does a deal at Cobone, do these brands usually advertise the deal, or does the advertising just happen through Cobone?
I think it's pretty much just Cobone.
Just Cobone.
So, I mean, we've got an enormous reach. So it is the advertising in itself. It's driving that. Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions from the audience?
Hi. So you guys are in the Saudi market as well. So
Yes.
how has your experience in the Saudi market been in terms of people using coupons to redeem codes, and how different has it been from the UAE?
Yeah, so the UAE market's more used to deals. In fact, we're the only player in Saudi. To some extent, if you've got competition, you're both driving the market as well as driving your brand. But then at the same time, it's quite nice not to have any competition. Saudi market is when we took on Cobone January 2015. It was 1/3 Saudi, 2/3 UAE, and by the end of the year we're 50-50, and that is just really driving for us. But then we're just focusing a lot of attention on pushing out great deals, and we've got a great team. So it is more difficult. You're building a market as well as building a brand, but yeah, there's an appetite for deals in Saudi.